This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and in this video we're going to talk about the FORCLAZ Travel 500 Organizer 40-liter backpack, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So the primary material that we're working with here is polyester. As you can see, the front face here has a bit of a coating, which adds to the weather resistance of this bag overall. But if you go to the sides here in the back, you do not have that same weatherproofness that the front has. Obviously, this is kind of be taking a lot of the brunt of when it rains or snows or something like that. But there also is a rain cover, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. So if it really is coming down or it's snowing or something like that, you can throw the rain cover on, and that's really going to give you the most protection. So it's nice to bring that with you if you're going somewhere where it's probably not going to rain, or maybe it's not in the forecast and you don't have a ton of space left over. Don't necessarily have to bring it, but I pretty much always bring it because I'm worried about stuff like that. So the exterior zippers are from YKK. Try to give you a better look at it. This bag is pretty big, but as you can see, we have one of these zippers there. So we have YKK on the outside and SBS zippers on the inside. So I kind of like that dynamism, if that makes sense, because YKK zippers are a better brand in my opinion. So you have those on the outside, which is a more important zipper, again, in my opinion. Then you have the cheaper, more budget-friendly zippers on the inside, because this is a budget-friendly backpack, and that's a way to save a little bit of money to make the bag cheaper for you. So let's talk a little bit about the track design here. So as you can see, these zippers have these loops. All of the secondary compartment zippers have these loops that you can loop through to give you a little bit of extra protection so someone can't really open it as easily. But as you can see, when you go to just close the zipper regularly, there's a little bit of a hole there. So if you're just using it and it's raining or something like that, or it's a light rain to where you don't need the rain cover, you can't really, I don't know, just not my favorite design of all time. And the main compartment zippers, where do I have them stowed right now? Must be on the bottom. Have a locking mechanism, so you can throw a lock in between those two holes there, which is a nice inclusion, I think. So the hard plastic hardware is from Duralon and Duraflex. Nothing really to report there. They both work very well. No issues with them breaking, and the buckles are very snappy. So we've got a water bottle pocket on this side. As you can see, we have a zipper that comes down like this and a bit of elastic there. So you can fit an okay sized bottle in there when you have the back fully packed like right now. But my big bottle over here will not fit inside of there. So the more gear you have inside there, the less space there is for a bottle. You can probably fit a 12 to 16 ounce bottle there right now. There's an even bigger kind of utility pocket on this side over here. Got a big old Yeti bottle in there right now, just very stretchy, very easy to use. We've also got compression straps. So the compression straps on this side over here do not have buckles on them, but because the straps go over the zippers on this side, these ones have buckles so they can pop off. You can also use that to attach something here in the water bottle pocket, which is handy. We've also got handles on the top and the bottom, which is very nice for grabbing this wherever you've got it stowed, whether it be above your head in the airplane or in a trunk or something like that. So this bag is so tall, I've kind of got it to the side right now because it is challenging to really get it all in frame. So the shoulder straps here have a nice curve to them. They fit nicely to my body, and they're pretty comfortable. They have a fair amount of padding, and there's also some aeration there as well to keep things cool. Doesn't keep things super cool. Even on like a 60-degree day, it was getting a bit warm. We've got load lifters up here at the top, so you can kind of move some of that weight around. You've also got a sternum strap, which is not really, you can't really leave it where you want it. It's just gonna move wherever, like freely through there, which doesn't bother me so much. But if you like your sternum strap to be in one specific place, this might bother you a bit. So moving to the back panel, as you can see, there's padding up here and padding down here, but there's a whole section here without any padding. And sometimes if you really pack this out, it starts to like bow a little bit. So your back is actually like resting on this like just piece of little plastic with some polyester on top of it. So not the most comfortable when you have it fully packed out, but if you have it packed out a normal amount or less, I think it actually is pretty comfortable. It just takes some getting used to there not being padding all the way through there. And obviously you get a little bit of an air channel, so that helps a bit. On the hip belt here, you can't remove this. I'm just going to show you that it is stitched in there, but you can shove this underneath here to kind of get it out of the way. I don't really like wearing the bag when it's like that, but if you're stowing it somewhere, it is nice to be able to get this kind of out of the way. We do have a pocket on this side here. You can fit like your phone in there, snacks or something like that. So overall, the harness system does feel a little bit limiting to me. And when you have the bag really packed out, it's not the most comfortable. The shoulder straps even dig in a little bit. But if you have an average amount of packed out or less, I think it does pretty well. If you are finding this video helpful, make sure you throw a like on the video, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. So as you can see, I have the pack on now, and it is very large. One thing to mention before I get into how it feels is that we do have strap keepers on the sternum strap here and on the hip belt, which is something a lot of times on more budget-friendly bags that you miss out on. So nice to see those included stock. You don't have to buy them yourself or anything like that. But as you can see, this is a very large pack. So I'm just over 6 foot, and as you can see, the pack comes down pretty far. And if you use the load lifters, you can kind of lift it up a little bit, but this is where it is most comfortable for me personally. As mentioned, I'm kind of at the maximum amount that I would want to pack this bag out. I could definitely fit a little bit more gear inside of here if I needed to, but again, it just becomes a little bit more uncomfortable, and I'm the kind of person who's booking my flights in weird ways and often have to wear a backpack for like the whole day, the last day. So this is about as comfortable, the most amount of gear I would have in here for it to be super comfortable. Any more than this, it's going to start to kind of bow out a little bit and be a little bit too uncomfortable on my shoulders. So before we dive into the secondary compartments, let's say you're trying to make this fit as a carry-on backpack for, let's say, a mean-spirited airline, and you really cinch these down to try and save some space, it becomes challenging to access some of the secondary compartments. So right now I can't really access this front pocket right here. In the laptop compartment, as you can see, it's even like pulling the zipper over like that. So it's kind of hard to access those. So to really get good access, you kind of have to not necessarily loosen those all the way, but just get them to the point where you can kind of manipulate the materials of the bag a little bit more. So not really a big deal. I do like that they have compression straps, just the way that it's designed, they just kind of get in the way of some of the compartments. So we can talk about this front compartment first. All I have stowed inside of here right now is the rain cover. As you can see, pretty basic stuff. It's got the elastic to go around the pack, and it's got a waterproof material, or I should say highly water resistant material that's going to help you with. The front of the pack does pretty well, but the sides and the top are really what you need the assistance with, and you got the big FORCLAZ logo there on the front to match the FORCLAZ logo here. So that's typically where I keep that. I kind of use this as my flex pocket, so I don't have anything else inside of here right now. As you can see, it goes up to here, all the way down the sides there, and then down to the bottom of the pack. So you have quite a bit of room here. But depending on how much gear you have stowed inside the bag, you're gonna have less room here. It does kind of fold out a little bit when I should probably show you from the side angle here. You have a little bit of extra room here from the side of the bag that will get compressed down when you use these compression straps. So you can get a little bit of extra room there too by loosening these or taking it off. So this, as I said, I like to use this as my flex pocket if I know I'm gonna be bringing stuff home, or I might just want to shove something in there while I'm walking around. This doesn't take up a ton of room. As you can see, I can really kind of compress this down, so I've got a little bit of extra room in there for snacks or whatever I want to throw in there. So it's nice to have that extra room just in case you buy something that you really need, or on your way there it's really cold and on your way back it's warm, so you're gonna have more clothes inside of here. Just nice to have I don't know what to call it other than the flex pocket as mentioned. So on the top here, we do have a small secondary compartment. As I mentioned earlier, these things do not close all the way because of that little design that we went over, but I've just got my phone stowed inside of there right now. It does a pretty good job of fitting in there, and we have a little clip there for your keys as well. So this was the first time when I first got this pack, the first time I noticed that some of the materials kind of feel a bit cheap. I mean, the side materials feel okay. They don't feel super cheap, but they just obviously don't feel as premium as some of the more expensive backpacks. But when I first felt this liner inside of here, it just felt very something you'd get for free, if that makes sense. And I really haven't had any issues with any of the materials so far, but that's just the first time it struck me that, okay, this does feel a little bit cheap. And it is a cheap backpack, but as you can see, it's held up very well over 2 weeks, so I can't complain too much. So we've got the laptop compartment over here. We've got that same issue at the top here. So if you just go to the top, you have a little hole there, and that's where your laptop's gonna be stowed. So you really wanna make sure you put that all the way through. If there's any chance of rain or someone's spilling on you or something like that, I just put it through there just to have to bring it back again. But I guess it's a good to show you how it works. So we have a laptop stowed inside of here right now. So this is not raised. So this is gonna go all the way down to the bottom. You can kind of see it poking out a little bit when it gets to the bottom. So this is going to hit the ground if you let it. There's a ton of room here on the top, so I don't really understand that design, because you could have just raised this a tiny bit and still had room for a computer, because this is a 15-inch computer, fits in there with no problem. You can see me moving it around here a ton. Obviously width maybe is a bit of an issue for a bigger computer, but you had a ton of room there. So I wish that was not the case, because it's the worst when you like set your bag down and you just hear your laptop you'll hear it, but like a thud. You really don't like to hear that, and I heard that multiple times while I was testing this backpack. But it's there, you can use it. You now know that, so when you get it, you're not going to be throwing it on the ground. But those are all the secondary compartments. I really do like kind of the versatility of this front pocket. Top pocket pretty standard, laptop compartment pretty standard, but again, not raised. So one more look before we go into the main compartment at these zippers. Now that I have the water bottle out of there, it's easier to show you. You can lock these if you want to with a little lock. Obviously you have to buy a lock to do that. So moving into the main compartment, when you first open it up, if you are familiar with the Alpa line of bags, this looks a lot like the Alpa. My girlfriend has an Alpa and travels with it a ton whenever we go places, and as soon as I opened this, I was like, oh wow, this looks a lot like the Alpa. So you really kind of have like a suitcase style organization inside of here with one large pocket over here, two large pockets, and then a little kind of like an admin pocket up here. So I'll open up the big one first so you can kind of see it. Remember, SBS zippers on the inside, YKK on the outside. Can fit a ton of gear inside of here. Like, I was so shocked how much gear I was able to fit in this bag. So you have a huge compressing cube right here, a big but not huge packing cube right here. We're just gonna kind of get these out of here, so that way there's just a little bit more room to show you everything. So no organization inside of here. This is that cheap liner material I was talking about earlier from that pocket, and you have more of the same of that liner on the inside, but that doesn't bother me so much, as long as if you're gonna be transporting a bunch of like sharp things in here, maybe that would be a problem, but I don't know. General use, it has not been a problem, no holes or anything like that, and just generally has held up pretty well. But no organization out of here, just a big open area. But you can kind of see how thin these materials are as well. So this is a budget-friendly bag, so you're getting more budget-friendly materials. This front, I wish that we saw more of this on the back, but again, that would make it heavier and also probably a little bit more expensive, so maybe would defeat the purpose of the bag existing altogether. But again, I can fit a ton of gear inside of here, and that is the point of what I'm talking about. And as you can see what's on the inside because this is just mesh. So you can kind of, if you're a person who worries like me, you can make sure that everything is stowed inside of there. So moving over to this side, we still have actually, I think that's what really surprised me, is like, okay, I was like, I got all my big stuff in here. I feel like I'm not gonna be able to fit very much over here. I was able to fit a lot more than I thought, but we'll start with the little compartment up top here. So just have a little sling packed in here. It's nice to bring this with you when you're going somewhere. We took this to New Orleans with us. It was very handy too. We took this one and the bigger one actually. So we took the mini and the non-mini with us. It's nice to be able to bring an extra sling or something like that. And I'm currently testing some of these flashlights as well. So nice to have a flashlight with you when you don't know whether or not you're gonna need a flashlight. So that's just a little admin pocket that, and the reason I put those down there is because I just realized one of them's embargoed, so you didn't see it. So I'm gonna close up that pocket now, but it's nice to have a place to put small gear inside of here because the rest of these compartments are just very, very large. So I'm gonna open up this pocket behind it, and this is the one that surprised me how much gear I was able to fit inside of here. So we've got my tech pouch, we've got my toiletry pouch, and then we've got two medium or small packing cubes, depending how you look at it, but a fair amount of gear stowed inside of there. And then on the pocket down here, we have my GoPro case, which I keep my GoPro and my handy recorder inside of. So there's actually a bit of extra room in there if I wanted to fit some more gear, and just generally I probably could have fit a little bit more gear inside of here. And even more if I did not have the rain cover stowed inside this front compartment, because they really do share space. So you're really getting the same amount of gear from this no matter how you pack it between these, I guess you call it 3 pockets, and then the front there. So just very happy with how much I was able to stow inside of here. You really can, like, this can be your one bag travel bag. Especially if you're first getting into one bag travel, you've never done it before, you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a backpack. I don't think this is the best value budget backpack in the world, but for the price, you're gonna be hard pressed to find a bag that you can fit more gear in and has more features that you see on some of the more expensive backpacks. But again, when it comes to the quality of the materials, it's not the best. And coming back to the harness system here, it's just not the most comfortable harness system if you're going to completely stuff this all the way full. So it's like, if you're gonna be living out of this bag for a few months, might not be the bag for you. But if you're just starting out and you wanna know if you like doing one bag travel, I think this is a great bag to see if you like it, and it won't cost you an arm and a leg either. So there you have it, the FORCLAZ Travel 500 Organizer 40-liter backpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.